Hey everyone, it's Jenna from Cruise Blog, and today I'm ranking all 6 of Royal Caribbean's Oasis Class ships from worst to best. I've had the chance to sail on all of these vessels in the past few years, but I liked some more than others. Let's get started. Oasis Class ships have turned heads ever since the first ship, Oasis of the Seas, launched in 2008. She was anything but a traditional cruise ship. For the first time ever, a Royal Caribbean ship was split into distinct neighborhoods. Whether the family-friendly open-air boardwalk neighborhood at the ship's aft or the 2-story Royal Promenade, the Oasis Class truly redefined what a cruise ship could be. And throughout the past 16 years, 5 more Oasis Class ships have launched. Allure of the Seas, Harmony of the Seas, Symphony of the Seas, Wonder of the Seas, and Utopia of the Seas. Despite enjoying all 6 ships, I've come to favor some more than others. Truthfully though, all 6 Oasis Class vessels are more alike than different, but still, each ship offers varied entertainment, restaurants, and onboard activities. In the end, it was the most subtle of differences that made me favor one ship over the other. Here's my ranking of Royal Caribbean's Oasis Class ships from worst to best. In last place is Harmony of the Seas. Harmony of the Seas first launched in 2016, and I sailed on her for a 7-night Eastern Caribbean cruise in 2022. I didn't have any major complaints at all with the ship itself, but there were just a few things I preferred on other vessels compared to Harmony. First of all, Harmony of the Seas does not have a pool in the adults-only solarium, which I find a bit odd. I also prefer the fully indoor solariums found on the newest Oasis Class ships. And although Harmony has a Broadway production of Grease, I like some of the shows on other Oasis Class ships more, such as Mamma Mia on Allure of the Seas. But Harmony of the Seas was a very important stepping stone for Royal Caribbean when they built the Oasis Class. She was the first ship to debut with upgraded activities like the Ultimate Abyss dry slide and water slides, and this paved the way for other ships in her class and all other Royal Caribbean ships since. I did sail on Harmony of the Seas by myself, and that may have impacted my enjoyment of my cruise, but although I would sail on the ship again, I'd probably pick another Oasis Class ship first. My 5th least favorite ship was Symphony of the Seas. Symphony of the Seas launched 2 years after Harmony of the Seas in 2018. I spent a week on board the ship with my dad and we cruised to the Western Caribbean, and while on board, I found no major issues with the vessel. All things considered, Symphony of the Seas could easily be in my top 3 or 4 Oasis Class ships. I found it impeccably clean and I appreciated the design features. The adults-only solarium had this artwork called the Big Wonder, which lights up at night, and even during the day, it's really pretty and a unique feature of the ship. I also love Jamie's Italian, and this restaurant is on Symphony of the Seas. This is my favorite Italian restaurant that Royal Caribbean offers, and I love the musical Hairspray, and this is available in the Royal Theatre for free. So why the lower ranking? Ultimately, I prefer the enhanced layout found on the 2 latest Oasis Class ships. I also love the Caribbean-style pool deck found on ships like Oasis, Allure, Utopia, and Wonder of the Seas. These more colorful pool decks come with features like the lime and coconut bar, which I really love. Their lime and coconut signature drink is one of my favorites, and you can't get this on Symphony of the Seas. So even though Symphony offers a great vacation, I would probably pick a few other Oasis Class ships first. I will say though that because Symphony of the Seas is newer than some Oasis Class ships, the cabins are much more modern. So even though a ship like Oasis of the Seas was refurbished in 2019, the cabins were not. And so when you sail on this ship, the cabins appear much more outdated, there's fewer outlets, and some of the furnishings are a little worn, but on Symphony of the Seas, because it's newer, my cabin was pretty modern. 4th on my list is Oasis of the Seas. Oasis of the Seas is among my favorite Oasis Class ships, and Oasis is one of the most influential ships to ever come out of Royal Caribbean. Truly, no one could imagine a cruise ship could look like Oasis of the Seas until she launched. We might now view a park in the middle of a cruise ship with some sense of normalcy, but this was certainly not the case when she launched in 2008. Over the years, Oasis of the Seas began to show her age, things appeared dated around the ship, and there were a few areas that could use a refreshment. So in 2019, she underwent a $165 million amplification. This added things like the Perfect Storm water slides, new restaurants, and a reimagined pool deck to the ship. The Ultimate Abyss was added to the ship's aft, and a new escape room was launched. As far as dining, Portside Barbecue was introduced, and it's the only location in Royal Caribbean's fleet. This amplification had a huge difference on Oasis of the Seas, and I really loved my 4 nights on board. I also splurged on an all-cruise pass to the ship's thermal suite, And this definitely helped me enjoy my cruise even more. I love the hot stone loungers in there as well as the different sauna and steam rooms. Oasis of the Seas is not at the top of my list though because the cabins are somewhat outdated, and also because even though it did get an amplification, I think that the enhancements Royal Caribbean made with the next 3 ships on this list easily put them above Oasis of the Seas. Okay, my third favorite ship in the Oasis class is Utopia of the Seas. This ship launched in July of 24 and it sails 3 and 4 night cruises to the Bahamas. Royal Caribbean dubbed this ship the biggest weekend at sea. Basically, this ship is supposed to provide the perfect short getaway for cruisers. It goes to Nassau and perfectly at Coco Cay, and there's so much to do on the ship that you will not be bored for 1 second of your short time on board. There are a lot of themed parties on the ship, which I found very fun during my 3-night cruise. There's the Royal Kappa Chi College themed party and the Toga Silent Disco. Even though I wouldn't say that the party vibe was entirely my vibe, participating in these activities was not a requirement. If you didn't want to get all into the party atmosphere, it basically felt like any other cruise vacation. I love the layout of Utopia of the Seas. Basically, with Utopia and Wonder of the Seas, Royal Caribbean created a new layout concept for the Oasis class ships. The buffet was moved to a different deck so it could be more spacious. An all-new suite neighborhood was added with coastal kitchen restaurant, a suite lounge, and a private sun deck. I've cruised on Utopia of the Seas twice now, and one time I stayed in a suite, and I loved having access to this suite neighborhood. Utopia of the Seas has new venues that are not found on most other Oasis class ships. For example, you can find the Royal Railway immersive train car restaurant. I didn't have the chance to try this, but it is on my list for the next time I'm on Utopia of the Seas. There's also a quick grab-and-go food spot on the pool deck, the Pesky Parrot Bar, which is a tiki-themed bar right on the Royal Promenade. So why isn't the newest Oasis class ship first on my list? Well, mostly because of the price and the itineraries. The price of Utopia of the Seas is steep, especially for a short cruise. Most of the time, I would rather book a longer itinerary on an older ship for the same price as a 3-night cruise on a new ship like Utopia of the Seas. Plus, their itineraries aren't very exciting, they just go to the Bahamas, and as someone who's more destination-focused, I prefer exploring other areas of the world. For a quick getaway, though, I see the appeal of Utopia of the Seas, and I'm not opposed to sailing on her again. I think she offers some of the best of the Oasis class, and if she sailed some longer itineraries to more unique destinations, she would probably be my favorite. Next, my second favorite Oasis class ship is Wonder of the Seas. This launched in early 2022, and I was on the inaugural sailing of the ship. We went to the Eastern Caribbean, had perfect weather, and I really got to experience this brand new ship in its glory. As I said about Utopia, Wonder of the Seas also has an enhanced layout. There's the suite neighborhood, the expanded buffet, and of course the adults-only solarium is fully enclosed and climate-controlled. The solarium on Wonder of the Seas is absolutely gorgeous. I loved spending time in here, and this is one of the reasons why the ship is my favorite. I'm a lot more inclined to spend time in here, and it's not nearly as hot as the pool deck outside. I will say what's keeping Wonder of the Seas from being number 1 on my list is the entertainment. There's no Broadway musical on the ship, and I think that's a major drawback for those who like to watch shows in the evening. The other entertainment is still impressive, but I do wish that there was a Broadway show. And number 1 on my list, my favorite Oasis class ship is Allure of the Seas. This is a pretty surprising spot for Allure of the Seas. A few months ago, I would have put her dead last in my list, but she just completed a $100 million amplification, and now she's at the top of my list. The amplification added new venues, activities, and entertainment all around the vessel. After I spent 4 nights on board, I quickly realized that this greatly improved Allure of the Seas. Prior to her amplification, she seemed pretty dated. She had some older restaurant concepts for Royal Caribbean, and some bars that were always kind of empty, like the Champagne Bar. There were no water slides on the pool deck, and everything seemed a little bit outdated. After her amplification, I think she is on par with the newest Oasis class ships like Wonder and Utopia of the Seas, and she's not as expensive. I love the addition of the Mason Jar, which is Royal Caribbean's Southern-inspired bar and restaurant. The venue's also available on Wonder and Utopia of the Seas, but I prefer the layout on Allure. It's a really big space that's kind of split into 3 sections. First you have the restaurant in the back, then you have this middle section, and then you have the bar area, which is right next to the country band, and the bar itself is gorgeous. This is somewhere I like to spend every evening when I'm on board Allure of the Seas. There were also a lot of activities added to the ship, like the Ultimate Abyss slide, Splashaway Bay, laser tag, and water slides. And if all that isn't enough, I think that Allure's entertainment is among the best in Royal Caribbean's entire fleet. The Broadway production of Mamma Mia in the Royal Theatre is exceptional, and the all-new Aqua 82 show features mind-blowing acrobatics and high diving in the ship's Aqua Theatre. I thought Allure offered a great value in my vacation, and her itineraries, most importantly, are probably the most interesting in the entire class. Right now she's sailing in Europe, and then she'll move over to the Caribbean. Compared to the other ships that mostly go to the Bahamas and the same few ports in Mexico, Allure's itineraries are much more exciting. Well, there you have it. That is my ranking of Royal Caribbean's Oasis Class ships from worst to best. Have you sailed on the Oasis Class ships before, and which one do you prefer? Do you want to give the amplified Allure of the Seas a try like I did? Please let me know in the comments below. While you're there, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on your notifications, that's that bell icon there, so that you can be notified whenever Cruise Blog posts a new video. Until next time, happy cruising!